going to show you how you can use the asynchronous events in GameMaker 1.4 from a C++ DLL. So first off, I think it's useful to know that there's a official blog post article from GameMaker on the Yo-Yo Games website, which you probably should take a look at because we will take the basic code and put that in the project we're going to use. Okay, so first off, I'm going to use Codeplugs here because it's really simple to use. It's got all the functionality you need. Just go ahead and download it. I'll also link a video in the description by Dragonite Spam, who also introduced this IDE. If you got the IDE installed, just click on New and Project. We're going to use a dynamic link library here. So just select it and press go. And they have this fancy setup wizard. Ask for a project title. I don't know. It's just gonna be async GM or something like that. Title doesn't really matter. So just click finish. There we go. First thing I want to do is remove the header file because we won't need it. And oh, geez. And also all this stuff, you don't need it. So first thing we're going to do is paste the all the stuff from the Yo-Yo Games website, from the blog post, into the source file. So we're just going to get this stuff over. Just need to get rid of that. And this. So now that we've got everything over here, let's make some changes. So first off, we're going to include the string functionality to the program because we're going to be using strings and C++ doesn't know strings by default. And also, I'm going to take the nice line of code by Dragonite, which is just a GM export, like a GLL thing, so that you can use these functions from GameMaker. Okay, so what this does, these are function pointers that essentially point to the functions, and so they're not really functions, but just pointers to functions in memory. And as far as I understood from the blog post, uh, right here, they just initialize these function pointers with like functions. They assign the attributes and like functionality stuff to it. This will just essentially create the trigger in GameMaker for the asynchronous event, which we're going to be using to get the DS map from the DLL. We're going to create a function. So GM export is basically whenever you want to use a function from a DLL in GameMaker, you have to make it extern C deckled spec DLL export so that GameMaker knows which calling convention to use. And I'm also going to set this to double the return type because if you set it to void or anything else, it's just going to be really janky. And also we need to return a double in the end then, which is just going to be 1 every single time. And same with the function we're going to create. The return type doesn't matter and the value it's returning because everything the function will return is going to be over the asynchronous event, and the return type doesn't really matter there. So yeah, I'm just going to call the function update, and we're going to pass the x and the y value of the object that we want to update the position from. And to initialize a map, we're going to do, I don't know, my map equals create DS map. Why doesn't it do stuff? Why doesn't it autocomplete it? I don't know. Does it compile? Okay, it does. That's great. So yeah, this create DS map is a function pointed function. So we're going to use this whenever we want to create a DS map in C++ for GameMaker, which we're going to store in my map. And this is basically the thing we're going to pass back to GameMaker then. Just have that here. And I'm not doing any fancy stuff with the variables, so I'm just going to do x++ and y++ to just like move it in a line. And then we're going to have to add these values, the changed values, to the map. So that's going to be ds map add double to my map. I'm going to use the ds map key, just x, because I'm going to store the updated x value in it. And let's do the same thing for y as well. Okay, and let's add some documentation to this. Create the ds map, update the x and y values of the object, add those to the ds map, and finally we will pass it back to GameMaker, which we're going to do using the create async asyn event with ds map. Jesus, what a name. Oh, and also we're using a constant for the ID of the event other social, like the asynchronous event, which apparently has an ID of 70. So just put it somewhere really on top of the program as a constant integer. Because if you want to use this in other functions you create, it's really useful to have it in global scope. So then this function needs some parameters. We will have the my map, which is just our ds map we want to pass back, and event other social. So now we should be able to use it in GM, and then also we want to return something because we labeled the function to return a double. So of course we need to return a double, which is just going to be 1 again, because again, it doesn't really matter. We just need to return something, so GameMaker doesn't get confused. And this should be everything for now, I hope. You can ignore these messages, it's just basically because of the key, because this is a string and it's automatically typecasted to a character array, which is basically a string in C++. Okay, so now let's jump back to GameMaker. I've made a really basic project. We just have a red square sprite. We have a room with an object main in it, which for now I will just delete everything out of. So it's just an object with a sprite. So now back to Codeplugs. We just need to build the project now. So just click on the little cogwheel. Shouldn't give us any errors. This looks fine. Now you have to navigate to the project folder of that project, which is gonna look like that, hopefully. And if you build it, you should have a bin folder here, which you can just click through and see the DLL there, and just leave that window open in the background and copy the path of it, because we want to jump back to GM now, create an extension. You can just call this whatever you want. I'm just gonna call this regcb for register callback. Create, add a file. Now you want to paste the path in here, so you can select the DLL file, and now you got it in here. You can add a function to it, and the first function we're going to add. Now this is just the stuff you have labeled as GM export here. The first thing we're going to do is grab the name of this function, which is going to be register callbacks. Paste it in again. Make sure return type is marked as double and type is cdecal. Takes 4 strings and press OK. Then add another function which we called update. So just paste it in here. And this one takes 2 doubles. So just click save. Now what we want to do is add a social event, which we're going to just update the x and y values we changed through passing it into the DLL. This is essentially the DS map we're getting passed back to GameMaker from C++, and inside these brackets we use the whatever key we called it in these things. So first one's going to be x, and second one is just going to be the same but with y. So what this does is it just gets the changed values from the DLL, and whatever that returns is going to be the new x and y. And what you also want to do is a step event where we're just going to call the update function with our current x and y values, and this should be everything. So now save the project. If you don't have the instance placed in the room already, just go ahead and do it. I'm just going to put in that corner there, set the room speed to 60. Oops. Jesus, just okay. So it will move down in a line towards the corner, kinda, and yeah, let's see if that works. So yeah, we can see the instance moves to the, not the corner, but apparently like here, I think. So yeah, everything works fine. We are passing the x and y values. Well, okay, even got a typo there. We're passing the x and y values to the DLL. In the DLL, we're just adding 1 to the x and y positions. We add it to the map, we pass it back to GameMaker. GameMaker receives it in the social event. We load it, and we set it to the new x and y values, or we set the x and y values to the new ones. So yeah, there you go. This is using the asynchronous event from an extension or from C++. I hope that was useful. If you have any problems, just write a comment. I'll see if I can help you. And yeah, thanks for watching.